If you're still struggling to hit $10,000 per month online, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're stuck in the same trap that keeps 99% of people in this cycle of struggle. In the next 7 minutes, I'm going to break down the brutal truth that nobody's telling you and show you exactly how to flip the script and start making $10,000 per month in 2025 if, of course, you're curious. Now, there are common patterns shared amongst those who are cranking at least $10,000 per month, and there are common patterns shared with those who are not. There's commonalities between the two, right? That's just the reality. They all share the same traits, the ones that are successful and the ones that are struggling, the ones that are not as successful. I'm also going to tell you the question that Alex Hormozi has asked that instantly changes what you do. When I say instantly, I really mean it. It completely shifted my mindset when I heard this question. And it's very, very powerful, but it's very, very simple at the same time. So I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what that is, and I'm going to take you through that process in the next few minutes. Now, this is something that you need to make sure you are not doing. So I'm going to take you through 5 critical mistakes that are always going to hold you back no matter what you do. Seriously, 5 critical mistakes. The 5th one is a mental shift that will unlock your ability to have money flow to you. So we're going to end the cycle of struggle here. Everybody always tells you to operate in the abundance mindset, right? It's abundance this, abundance that. But it's difficult. It can be difficult to actually get yourself into that framework if you've been in survival mode, if you've been struggling. No matter what the circumstances are, it can be hard to actually unlock that realm of your mindset, right? But I'm going to show you how we can do this, and you can actually end that struggle. And when you do unlock this ability, everything's going to change, and you're going to operate from that position of abundance. Now, the first area that we have to look at here, those that are not successful, they try to figure everything out themselves. They go it solo. Those, in comparison, who are successful, take something that works, and then they follow the blueprint to implement this. They're not guessing, right? They're taking the blueprint. They've got the roadmap in front of them, and they're progressing onwards. Now, it's not about reinventing the wheel. We don't need crazy ideas or never seen before AI softwares, all this kind of stuff. You don't have to have the latest and greatest products or services. You just don't need that. You really have to keep it simple. You need to follow that roadmap. You have to have that crystal clear pathway forwards. It's so much easier to follow that proven blueprint step by step rather than guessing your way through it, struggling to know what works and what doesn't work. It's really difficult to do it that way. I struggled this for quite a long time, basically wandering around in the dark, not really sure what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and honestly it was really holding me back. And then when I finally decided to follow a roadmap of those ahead of me, basically the ones that had laid the path out in front of me, the doors started to open. Magic, right? The doors started to open up, and I made a lot of progress. And I remember how I felt back then pretty clearly, clear as day, to be honest with you. I can still feel the emotion behind it. I remember the moments. I've told the story before on my channel of when I was in Banff National Park doing a walking tour type thing around the canyon. It was Johnston Canyon, I'll never forget that. Being at the back of the tour, having to hang back and deal with client questions all the time. It was a group of like 30 people, and I was having to hang back and be on a call with a client trying to fix a problem from a previous agency that wasn't even anything to do with me. So I was still having to deal with that, and I really didn't like that. So at that point in time, I had about 10 to 15 clients, and they were paying about $1,250 to $2,500 per month, which was great, but I was stuck. These clients were in all different markets, different niches. I had multiple e-commerce brands, I had chiropractors, I had auto body shops, I had credit repair, medical devices like chiropractic tables and things like that. And it was also like waste disposal for medical companies, ridiculous things. Weight loss clinics, laser weight loss and things, mortgage brokers, drink brands, alcohol brands, and financial advisors. And I think there was a few more in there too. But you can see how spread and varied all of these markets are. I was doing well with them all, but I was running around like a headless chicken, to be honest with you. I was stressed out to the max. My phone was always pinging with unique questions, and that's the key, right? Unique questions that I had to personally answer. So I couldn't give it to someone else. I had to personally answer because it wasn't a consistent process. So I was always answering these questions that I couldn't hire or outsource. I wanted to scale, but there was no way. I couldn't possibly do it. I was juggling so many balls. I didn't have the time or the bandwidth to do it. Then I joined a mastermind and explained what I was doing. So I met up with the guys and I explained how it was working. I actually met them in person at one point. That was really cool. They immediately told me the issue pretty much instantly. So I'd spent so much time struggling. I'll just move myself here. I spent so much time struggling. And in minutes, they told me what I was doing wrong. I spent the whole year trying to figure this out. They identified the issue before the waiter had actually brought our coffee. And I'm not kidding here. Before the waiter had actually brought our coffee order out in the hotel restaurant, they had told me what I was doing wrong. It was that fast. Then we identified the steps to fix it by systemizing a process and changing my mindset to focus on specific areas of expertise. This helped me standardize my process, which then helped me make my service more repeatable and a bit easier to manage as well. This then allowed me to break through the barrier and bring in more clients. It was a bridge that I had to cross, but it changed absolutely everything. Now, point number five that we're going to come on to is by far the biggest game changer that can truly make everything so much easier. And in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly what those who are successful actually do that you might not be doing right now. But it's nothing without point number 2, which is a question that Alex Hormozi asked that completely flipped how I operate. I mean, honestly, entirely. Those who struggle have focus for 3 days and then they quit. Those who are successful identify their plan, what they have to do to achieve that plan, and then commit for 12 months to execute on that plan. This is a huge aspect of why people fail. They can't stick to anything. The reality is most things will work if you follow a blueprint and you stick to it. So you think about which service works, what should I do if it's database reactivation, review management, AI bots, Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever the service is. You may think, is this the right one? Will this work? Will this work for me? The reality is all of them can work. You just have to stick to it. And I did this same thing for a long time. I had a huge list of things, a massive to-do list, everything that I wanted to do, and it was always growing. But then I asked myself a question, and it was a question that Alex Hormozi asked in one of his videos. What has to happen in order for me to achieve my goals? What has to happen in order for me to achieve my goals? Whether it's 10K, 50K, or 100K per month. What actually has to happen here? So I wrote down exactly what had to happen for me to achieve my goal. So I had my goal, whatever my goal was. And then I wrote down, in order for this to happen, what actually has to fall into place? What do I have to do? And it was a list of 5 things. Then I went to ChatGPT and I scheduled a task. And this is a new feature, so this is pretty recent. I actually scheduled a task on ChatGPT every single morning, 9 a.m. on the dot, to send me that list of things. So the list of things that have to happen in order for me to achieve my goals, ChatGPT sends me that every single day. Now, why did I do this? Because it builds consistency and it builds focus. It allows me to wake up every day and consistently execute on the tasks that I have to execute on to achieve the outcome that I want. Those who are successful consistently execute. You know that already. I know that. You know that. We both know that. You have to be consistent with your process. And this is how I do it. This is how I make sure I'm consistent with what I do and I'm repeating the same processes. And my vision is always on the plan. Exactly what I have to do. My vision is always on that plan. Now, the third aspect is the self-sabotage paradox. Those who struggle always find themselves in a position where their mindset actually sabotages any of their progress. Those who are successful, in comparison, figure out how to think and how to stop procrastinating. Your mindset is extremely powerful and your subconscious can actually control the outcome of what you're trying to achieve. So if you find comfort in your current position, it's never going to allow you to progress. It doesn't matter how much you want it, you will not progress. Now, it doesn't mean that you're in a comfortable position. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you feel great, you feel comfortable, but it's a position that you know. And that's a very important statement. It's a position that you know. Comfort is not necessarily the dream outcome, the dream scenario. Sometimes it's simply that the unknown is not there. So you might feel comfortable in a position because you simply know what to expect. There are no surprises for you. You might not be happy, but it feels safer than the unknown. It could be the unknown of what it's like with a business that cranks $10,000 per month. It could be the unknown of the effort, of the time that it takes to build a business like that, the risk that it takes. It could be the unknown of choosing the wrong path, and then which then makes you take no path at all. So if you're worried about choosing the wrong path, you end up not taking any path at all and making no progress. So inadvertently, it's safer to stay where you are. That's the mindset, right? It's safer not to make that move. It's safer to stay right where you are. Now, you might not believe this in your head. This might not be what's going through your mind or at any point, but your subconscious can actually believe it. Your subconscious can deep down believe that it's safer, and your body protects you, your mind protects you from making those moves because it believes it's safer to stay where you are. It doesn't want to put you in any danger. It doesn't want to put you in any risk. It will sabotage your progress. And how does it do it? Well, it does it with doubts, it does it with inaction, and it does it with procrastination. So you might logically want to hit $10,000 per month, but your own subconscious is blocking you from doing this by avoiding all of the work. You want to do something, but you find yourself procrastinating and you can't figure out why. You ever felt like this? You ever felt like you just don't know why you can't put the work in? You know what you've got to do, you know the path in front of you, but for some reason you just can't make yourself do it? That's your subconscious. That's what happens when your subconscious is taken over. So you need to learn how to control it, or it's going to hold you back forever. Now, those who are successful, they control their mind with the right environment, surrounding themselves with success to drive them forwards. Your environment is so important. You know this, we both know this. Your environment determines a lot about you. If you surround yourself with people who are taking action, having wins, making money, your subconscious is going to retrain and allow you to start taking action. So you've got to change your environment. You have to create a bubble where you surround yourself with success. It's vital. Now, you might think, in my daily life, I don't meet people who are super successful, right? I don't meet people that are doing 50, 100,000 per month. I don't meet them anywhere. They're not in my environment. I don't meet them at the grocery store. I don't meet them in the neighborhood. I don't meet them anywhere. Now, that's the most common scenario, because these types of people, the people we want to be, are the 1%. They're the ones that are succeeding. Therefore, they're not just everybody. 99% of people that you see out there are not like this. So it's very likely that the people who are physically around you are not the ones that are going to inspire you and lift you up and take you to that level. This means that masterminds and communities come into play, because that's where these 1%, that's where they congregate. That's where these people who are like you and I, that's where they are. Because they too struggle to find people physically around them that are like that as well. And this is why those that you see featured on my channel, so I've featured a lot of people who are making $55K in a single day, multiple $7,000 deals, $20,000 months back to back. These successful case studies, they're part of our inner circle, and they all started from the same place that you are. Every one of them. But they did what successful people do, and they ensured that their bubble was full of people who are ahead of them to learn from. This is the secret. Now, the fourth aspect that holds you back is something we can all relate to, every one of us. Those who struggle jump from idea to idea, suffering with shiny object syndrome, never actually implementing anything, right? They jump from one thing to the other thing. Those that are successful map their plan and commit to one clear process for 12 months. That's the difference. It makes a tremendous difference when you start to do this. And we've all been there before, right? Every one of us can hold our hand up and say we've done this before. You start something, and then 2 weeks later, the excitement dies out and you see an ad for something cool, then you jump over to that thing. Every one of us has done it. We've all seen the ads on Facebook. We've all seen YouTube videos, or we've seen things in forums or groups or whatever. We've all seen the things where it looks great on the outside and we jump to it, and then it's maybe not as it seems. It's not what we're looking for, or whatever the scenario is, and it dies out after 2 weeks and you move on to something else. The cycle repeats itself over and over and over again, year after year, and you look back and you think you've tried so hard, you've tried a lot of things, you've kept yourself really busy, but you never actually achieved what you set out to achieve in the first place. so you didn't really make the progress. So shiny object syndrome is a silent killer. Now, it's not easy to commit to because you've got content coming from all angles, right? Everywhere you look, giving you the next best thing, because that's what the algorithms do, right? That's how they work. But it requires discipline and dedication. It may not be easy to do, but it's quite simple. You pick one proven path. That's it. You pick one proven path. You commit all of your energy to that path for 12 months straight. You can't become trapped in the indecision of which path to take, though. So you don't want to be trapped in that cycle. The path you take today doesn't have to be your final destination. 99% of the paths that you can choose are out there. They do work. You just have to stick to them. So just because you pick a path today doesn't mean that has to be your forever. We can do the unscalable first and then move on to the scalable, transition to the scalable. But if you jump from path to path because you're half in on a few things, you've got a few things bubbling along, you're in one thing, in another thing as well, they aren't going to work. None of them are going to work for you. So you have to choose one. You've got to identify one path and then go for it. So you choose a path that's proven, that makes simple sense in your mind. That's the key. It has to make simple sense in your mind that you can potentially see the potential in, or you can personally see the potential in. Now, what I mean by this is not because someone else tells you. You have to, in your gut, right? You got to feel it. You got to think, I can actually see the potential here. I can see what I'm supposed to be doing. And then you're going to stick to that path. And that's it. Now, the fifth and final killer is all about making the right decision when you choose that path. Those who struggle try offers, they try different offers that seem like quick hits. Offers that give them the short-term fix, that short-term thinking, that dopamine hit of making a little bit of money. But then when they truly sit back and they think, am I truly solving a problem here, or am I just selling something? The answer is always the second option, every time. I'm just selling something. Now, those who are successful, they do it a bit differently. Strategically, they choose a power offer that solves problems. They focus on solving problems because it means they're in demand. It's not about choosing offers that you think people will like. It's choosing offers that are in demand. Why make it hard for yourself? Choose offers that are already in demand. For example, if you go out there and you just try to sell review management or database reactivation or AI bots or something like this with Go High Level to a customer, you're going to struggle. No matter what, you will struggle. It could solve a problem. There's potential for it to solve a problem. But the way it's positioned as that standalone service, as an offer, it doesn't solve the problem. There are missing pieces involved there. However, when you position this as a powerful system that directly solves the business owner's problems, improving their lead flow, maximizing their conversions, as well as minimizing any leads that they miss, it starts to solve the problem, right? You get towards the demand, you get towards that problem. Now, on that note, if you do want more content on how to turn services like database reactivation or AI bots or review management and turn them from services into more of a power offer, watch the video that I posted just before this one. So that not this one, but watch this one, but before this one, not this one, but the one before it. Watch that one for the breakdown of the system itself. I show you inside the system and how you position it, how we basically put all these pieces together. So watch that video if you want more information on that type of system or structure. Now, there are so many offers out there that they give you something new and shiny and they sound great, but they don't really solve a problem for the business owner. You must solve a problem. You have to do it. If you want this business to not only hit $10,000, but actually return $100,000, $200,000, or even more than that consistently every year, you have to solve a problem. That is the most important part for longevity. You don't want to build a shaky business, right? You don't want to build a business that's here today, gone tomorrow. You only want a business that's here for the next 5 years, that sustains you, that sustains your family. So you must build it on demand and solving problems. Those who struggle don't solve problems. Those who succeed, the successful people, they solve a problem with a system. This is extremely important. You need to have a power offer and it must be in demand. I remember going through the exact same reality. I had an offer just like everybody else's, and I struggled to book in sales calls. I was really struggling. and to make sales as well. So I could book a couple of calls, but I couldn't really close the sales because it just wasn't clicking. I always hit the same objections, and you might have heard them before. You know, how is this different to other things that I've seen? What's the price? What can I expect? I've been burned before, tried things before, it didn't work, and so on. We've all probably seen these before. It just seems so difficult to not only get a sales call, so booking that call was hard, but to actually get that deal closed, I was tired. I was burnt out. I was spinning in circles, wondering how I could ever make it work. Then I transformed the offer to directly solve the problems an insurance agent had. I ran the full circle, just like the system I showed you in that last video. It booked over 100 sales calls in a single month. 100 sales calls, go from struggling to get probably 5 in a month to 100. Look at the transition. I closed clients consistently every week. It became so much easier. And all we did was change how we positioned the offer. That was it. That's all we had to do. I wasn't offering crazy guarantees. In fact, we didn't even offer a guarantee at all. You've seen the offers that are, we'll get you this result or we'll pay you $1,000. Didn't do any of that stuff. We just had our standard offer. But it was positioned for demand. It was positioned to solve the problems. And all of a sudden, boom, the sales calls start flowing in. Yeah, I was making huge progress simply because I turned my service into a system that solved their problems. Those who struggle offer a service with a bland offer. Those who are successful offer a problem-solving system as a power offer. This is the difference. This is what holds you back. If you do what the successful do and you follow these 5 steps, you're going to have a crystal clear path forwards. However, as we both know, if you follow the path of those who struggle, so if you continue doing the things that the people who struggle do, you're going to achieve the same outcome. You'll do the exact same thing. If you want to be successful in 2025, you need to digest this message and understand your priorities and what you're doing on a daily basis. Are you doing what the successful do? Or are you doing what those who struggle do? And maybe you want to change. Think about this, right? Think about that question. Are you truly doing, if you list out what the people who are successful are doing, their inputs, the way they view things, are you doing those things? Or are you doing the things that the people who are struggling do? Jumping from shiny object to shiny object, going their own path, not following a proven blueprint. They're not committing long term. They're letting their self-sabotage take over because they're not in the right environments, and their offers just don't solve problems. Are you doing those things? And be honest with yourself, because if you're honest with yourself, you'll catch it now. And then you'll start doing the things that the people who are successful do. That's the difference, right? You can start following the path of those who are successful and achieving those outcomes rather than following the path of those who struggle and achieving the same outcome. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps. It really helps me understand the content that you like. And of course, if you want the system, you want to see the behind the scenes of the system, of how you turn a service into a system, have a look at my last video, which I'll link on this video somewhere, when I dove into the power offer system. Have a look at it. But over and out for now. Thanks for watching, and any questions, just let me know.